Welcome to the channel Technology with Purpose. Today, we are going to learn about the for loop in LabVIEW. We will study the basic understanding of the for loop, so let's get started. I am going to open LabVIEW now. I am not going to create a new project, but I will create a new virtual instrument, 6 file instead. Now that we have both the front-end and back-end windows open, let's arrange them for better visibility. I am going to take the for loop from the functions palette. There are many structures available, but today we are focusing on the for loop, so let's select it. You can see that there are two terminals available with the for loop. One is in, which is outside the loop, and the other is I, which is inside the loop. I'm sure you know what I stands for, but let me quickly review it for you. Basically, in is for the number of iterations. The for loop is used to perform similar operations multiple times, and the number of iterations is determined by the in terminal. I represents the actual count of the current iteration. You need to connect an integer value to the in terminal so that the loop will execute that number of times. You can also check the help details of the for loop here. Let's take a numeric constant and check how this loop behaves. For this, I will use the number 2 and see what happens when it is connected to the in terminal. To execute this loop continuously, I am going to use a while loop with a control. To check how many times this loop was executed, I will add a shift register. This will store the last executed value of the loop. Let's connect this value to an indicator so that we can see it on the front panel. Let's run and check. I'll also turn on the highlighter so that you can see exactly what's happening in the code. Now, the execution is running, and the last number displayed here is 1. Since the total number of iterations is 2, the loop executes only twice, once for 0 and once for 1. That's why the last number displayed is 1. Let's change this value to another number and see what happens. I have changed it to 5. Now, you can easily guess what the displayed value will be. Yes, it is 4, because the loop executes 5 times, from 0 to 4. There are some other features available in the for loop. Let me right-click on the for loop, and you'll see an option called Conditional Terminal. I am selecting it now. You can see that a new stop button has appeared inside the for loop. This is used to stop the loop based on a trigger condition, irrespective of the number of cycles. Let's see how it works. I am going to stop the loop when the number of iterations exceeds 2. Now, even though the loop count terminal is set to 5, the loop will stop early due to this condition, and the last value will also change. Let's run it and check. Now, you can see that the last value has changed from 4 to 3. This is due to the intermediate stop condition. Now, let's explore other ways of defining the loop count for the for loop. When we use an array as part of the processing variable for the for loop, the total number of elements in the array automatically determines the loop count. Let's see this in action. I am creating an array of numeric values here and connecting it to the for loop. After connecting it, you'll notice that the symbol changes to tunnel mode, which acts as an indexing number for the loop. Now, I am going to index this array and loop through it to see what values are stored at each index. We'll need to remove the conditional terminal since it is now unwired. It can't be deleted manually. You have to disable it through the for loop properties. Now, let's run it and check. Since the array is not initialized and contains no values, the iteration starts at 0, and the value stored at that location is also 0. Now, let's stop and store some values in the array. I have stored the number 5 in the third index of the array. Let's see if the for loop executes automatically until it reaches the third index and reads this value. Now, you can see that the last number is 5, which is the value stored at the size of the array. Let's try one more time. I have stored the number 100 in the 10th index of the array. Let's run the loop now and check. You can see that the final value is now 100, which was stored in the 10th index. So, guys, I hope you understand the concept of the for loop. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask in the comments. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Take care.